So it's 12:20 now, so we'll start. I'll introduce myself. My name's Doug Bennett, and I'm an alumni of the University of Alberta and a member of the Alumni Student Support and Engagement Team. That's ASSET. And I'll be guiding the meditation today. I graduated from the U of A with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and I started the Mindfulness Meditation Student Group while I was at the U of A. And so I've been meditating for about 11 or 12 years now, and have been guiding meditations as well. And so I'm so happy that you're here to join me. We'll be doing a 20-minute meditation, which, if that seems daunting to you, we're here together and it'll be over before you know it. And then after, we'll have time for any comments or questions, anything that came up for you during the meditation, um, or any questions that you might have, anything like that. And then we'll end, and we'll be back here again tomorrow and every day this week and next week, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. So, um, to get started, you just want to take a comfortable seat wherever you are. And that might be on a chair or on a couch or on the floor or on a cushion. And the one thing that we want to pay attention to start off with is just that we have a somewhat erect posture, both relaxed, yet alert. We don't want to be too relaxed because then we might fall asleep during meditation, but we don't want to be too alert because, or too erect, because we might tense up, and that also can be not conducive to um, a good meditation. So, arriving in that balance between relaxation and alertness. And when you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. I'm just going to take off my glasses. And we'll start just by doing a brief scan of our bodies for any tension that might be there. And you can start from your head and go down to your toe and your toes, sorry. And as you move through your body, if you encounter any tension or tightness, just try to relax it, or if relaxing doesn't seem possible, to soften it or soften around the edges of the tension to the degree that you're able. And we often hold tension in our shoulders, our back, but just taking the time to briefly touch in with our bodies, which we so often don't have a habit of doing. And when you're finished scanning your body, we'll just take the opportunity to take 3 or 4 breaths that are just a bit longer and deeper than you might otherwise be doing at this point in time. So, 4 kind of longer and deeper breaths. Relaxing with each out breath. Sinking into your chair or the floor or the couch with each out breath. letting go. And when you're ready, we'll just tune into our breathing, and you'll want to pick a spot that is where the sensations of breathing are either most prominent for you or where you're most comfortable tuning into them. And usually that's one of three places. It could be your nostrils, where you feel the air rushing in and out of them as you breathe. It could be your chest, as you feel it expand and collapse with your breathing. Or it could be your belly, as you feel it too expand and contract with each breath. So, picking one of those places and settling on it for the remainder of our meditation today. And seeing if you can pay attention to your breathing from the beginning of your in breath all the way to the end of your out breath, and the spaces between breaths as well. And we're not trying to change the pace of our breathing or the way we breathe in any way. We're just tuning into it, however it is in this moment. And what we'll often find is that by paying attention in this way, that our breathing will naturally slow down on its own. Now, as we meditate, we often will notice our mind start to wander. And if it does, which is a totally normal thing for it to do because that's what the mind does, it wanders. Just noticing that it's wandered. You could just say to yourself in your mind, noticing, noticing. And gently redirect your attention back to your breathing. And we don't want to reprimand ourselves for our mind wandering or be harsh with ourselves because that's just what the mind does. And we're not trying to change our mind, but we are trying to change the way our relationship is with the mind to something that's a little more healthy. And one thing you can try at the beginning, if you'd like, is to label your in breaths and out breaths mentally to yourself. Inwardly saying to yourself, in on the in breath and out on the out breath. And this can sometimes help us anchor our mind to the breathing a little bit when we're starting out meditating, or maybe if we've just sat down and our mind tends to be in a more scattered state than it normally is. You can also count your breathing: 1 on the in breath, 2 on the out breath, 3 on the in breath, 4 on the out breath, all the way up to 10. And when you get to 10, just start back down at 1. And so we have about 5 minutes remaining in our meditation. So we'll just sit in these last 5 minutes in mostly silence, just trying to be with our breath as best we can in this moment. knowing that by doing this that we're really taking an opportunity today to nourish ourselves. And again, if you find your mind wandering or you're thinking about the past or future, just noticing it, being kind with yourself, and moving your attention back to your breathing and treating this practice period as perhaps an arena where you can practice to be kind with yourself so that you can maybe take that attitude with you for the rest of the day. And so we have about 1 minute to go. And just taking a moment to do something like this today. It really is a courageous act to take the time to calm your mind during times like these that we're living in right now. because not only is it hard to take the time to do this, but it not only benefits you, but it benefits all those around you. When you're calmer and less reactive to what's happening around you, those around you are calmer as well. And so, this is a practice that can be an act of generosity towards others and yourself. So, I'd like to thank you for being here and thank those who have helped spread the word about this initiative. The Canadian Mental Health Association uh, student group at the U of A, the Mindfulness Meditation Student Group, and Access Open Minds. And if you found this helpful, please, if you could spread the link to this with friends and family and those that you care about. And right now we have some time for questions or comments. If you want to say anything that came up for you that was nice or maybe wasn't so nice during this meditation. Our meditation can be a space for and to hold anything that comes up. Or if you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it as best as I can with my experience. And if nobody has any comments or questions and is feeling particularly shy, we can just take this as extra time uh, to be quiet and mindful with ourselves. But please, I encourage you, if you have a question, that it's likely someone else has that question, or if they don't have that question, that they'll benefit from hearing the answer to your question. So please feel free to post anything. So Jody asks, thank you, Jody, very much. The advice you gave on dealing with a wandering mind was great. Do you have any other tips for staying focused? Um, the main tips that I would provide right now are kind of those ones that we briefly touched on during the meditation, which can be labeling your breathing. So saying inwardly to yourself, in on the in breath and out on the out breath, or counting your breathing. And one side benefit of counting your breathing that I didn't mention is that when our mind is wandering and we're not paying attention, we'll actually start to count above 10 and we'll hear ourselves counting to 13 or 14 in our head, and that will be a cue to immediately come back to your breathing. So those are two ways that you can help focus on your mind. But perhaps more importantly is that you don't want to put too much effort into focusing, because then you'll just introduce tension. And so a meditation teacher that I like and listen to said that an ideal uh, effort amount of effort for meditation is roughly 60%. And because if you're trying to be perfectionistic and to focus on every single millisecond of your breathing, it tends to be perfectionistic and to introduce tension. So, beyond those techniques and just noticing your mind when it does wander, um, I would say that you actually don't want to uh, focus too hard on focusing. Um, so I hope that that answers your question. And uh, mental labeling is very helpful and something that meditation teachers will often teach, but it's really um, something that you want to be gentle with yourself about. Or if your mind wanders a lot, and which happens in the beginning, that is totally normal. Um, and so maybe not to worry so much about being focused, but on having the correct attitude about when your mind does wander and you realize that you are unfocused. So I hope that answered your question. Thanks, Jody. That was a great question. Um, we have about 3 minutes left. Does anyone else have a comment or anything they'd like to share that came up for them or a question? And I'll wait about 30 seconds. But I see that there's 9 of you. So there's got to be at least one other question in the bunch. So don't be shy. But if there are no other questions, what we'd love um, from you is if you have any feedback about this, to feel free to email it to asset@ualberta.ca. And so I'll type that into the chat box right now. Excuse me, looking away from the camera. And know that this is a place that you can come to any day of the week, and that will always be here for you. And there will always be a meditation here for you. And I hope that this is a space that you'll always feel safe coming back to, especially during times like these. And know that you're doing a great thing for yourself, for your mind, and for those that you love and care about by doing this. If there aren't any more questions, then I think we'll wrap it up for today. Looks like I've covered everything on my checklist, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day and that this will aid you for the rest of your day, and that this calmness will be a source of strength for you. So thanks so much, and thank you, Jody, for saying thank you, and for the question. And have a great day, everyone. See you later.